Account lockout. The most common protection against these attacks is to implement account lockout, which prevents any more login attempts for a period after a certain number of failed logins. The most common protection against these attacks is to implement account lockout. Okay, it is completely unnecessary to say this. It prevents any more login attempts for a period after a certain number of failed logins. The counter of failed logins should be associated with the account itself rather than the source IP address. Associate the counter of failed logins with the account itself not the source IP address, in order to prevent an attacker from making login attempts from a large number of different IP addresses. So we are going to say that attacker cannot use many or multiple IP addresses to attack to log in, let's just say. There are a number of different factors that should be considered when implementing an account lockout policy in order to find the balance between security and usability. Consider a few factors when implementing an account lockout policy to find the balance between security and usability. The number of failed attempts before the account is locked out, the so-called lockout threshold, the time period that these attempts must occur within, the observation window, and how long the account is locked out for, lockout duration. Rather than implementing a fixed lockout duration, for example 10 minutes, some applications use an exponential lockout, where the lockout duration starts as a very short period, for example 1 second, but doubles after each failed login attempt. Some apps use fixed local duration, always 10 minutes. No, that's not right. Some apps, instead of using fixed local duration, always 10 minutes, use an exponential lockout. Starts at 1 second and doubles after each failed login attempt. So 1 second, 2, 4, 8, and so on. When designing an account lockout system, care must be taken to prevent it from being used to cause a denial of service by locking out other users' accounts. Yeah, so basically one person goes on a spree and locks out several accounts just because he can. One way this could be performed is to allow the user of the forgotten password functionality to log in, even if the account is locked out. So basically what this paragraph is saying, that someone locked you out because he kept trying different passwords for your particular username, and then you are locked out, but so that person cannot log in still, but you can, since you have access to the email, for example, or some other way to authenticate yourself. Most probably login, email. Okay, so be careful not to DOS yourself when designing an account lockout system. One way to prevent it is to allow the user of the forgotten password functionality. Okay, so one way to prevent it is to let legitimate users use the forgotten or the forgot password option even if the account is locked out. In such situations. So be careful not to DOS yourself when designing an account lockout system. One to prevent it is to let legitimate users use the forgot password option in such situations. That is it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. Leave a like, subscribe, leave a comment, and I will see you in the next video.